This video is going to cover what GraphPad is and a brief overview of all the configuration capabilities for GraphPad. And at its very core, GraphPad is a very easy to use dimensional drawing application. You can see how quickly I can create a scale drawing. Everything is to scale, and we've got controls up here to make it very easy to put in extremely accurate dimensions. And you can just in one touch apply, and put a length on something. So, but while this is a very critical aspect of GraphPad, it's only one feature in a very large framework. And so to kind of elaborate on that, we can start off with a new form, and in this case we'll start off with a company form with a logo. And what we're going to see is we've got our company information, which we can populate within the app itself, along with the company logo, etc. And in the appropriate forms, that information is going to be displayed in a fixed location. And so it really speeds up the process. Now, just being able to put your company information and a logo on there, that's something you could probably do by just saving it into the library. But where that really starts to shine is when we start looking at more elaborate forms. In this case, we're going to go ahead and open up a construction proposal form. And this form is coming with the base product. With release 7.2. And so not only do we have this super easy to use drawing engine, excuse me, go back into lines mode, super easy to use drawing engine where we can sketch out while we're at the site, draw up like our plans. It also has, on the second page, it's got a spreadsheet that actually is going to help us really close the entire deal, right? So we've got fields for putting in the customer information, so we can put in my name, for example. And we'll just say Rob. We could tab in, put in the site location, and we'll just say 34 Elm. And we'll see how this is being populated when we go through it. And now we have all these fields for us to total our services. So if we press inside one of these fields, let's get the one above it, what we're going to notice is we have drop-down list boxes. And they're going to have our price sheeting. So for example, if we have a cost for a 2x2 pier, and it's $10 for that pier, and we're going to have 30 of those. What it's going to do is it's going to sum those values up for us. So we can maintain these lists. Again, this is all within the base application. We could go in and say our countable items. If we wanted to add another one, we would just add a new item, put that button again, and put in, say for example, a 4x4 pier. And I don't type all that fast, so you have to bear with me, and say that one of those piers is, I don't know, $95. And save that, close this out. And now when we go to that field, we'll see we've got our 4x4 pier. It populates the cost per pier is 95 bucks, so we've got 50 of those. And it sums it up, $4,750. Now from the industry, we know that we have countable objects, and then we have tasks that need to be performed. Say for example, we need to remove all the sheetrock. Excuse me, I hit one of the countable forms again. Let's go to the form below it. Say we want to remove the drywall, and we want to have a fixed cost associated with that. We could add that service. In addition, we have our inspections and our permits aspect. This is a different field. We can separate it out. So for example, if we wanted to get the construction permit and we wanted to associate that with a $500 charge, all of these values are configurable in the base product, and it summarizes the entire proposal. At the end of it, we can have our customer sign. So let's see what my signature looks like. It automatically dates. And all the information that we filled out now gets populated throughout the rest of the other forms. So in this case, we've got an agreement. It's got our customer information. It's got the site location. It's got the customer name. It's got the total contract cost. In this case, we're not calculating the due before we start it, and also the due upon completion. But again, we could actually easily make that calculation. And again, all in the base product, right? We also have a standard set of libraries that we can work with electrical symbols, with landscaping symbols, etc. Just grab the landscaping symbols, and then we can drop those anywhere inside the application. Now, these are all just standard out of the box sort of things, But say, for example, you wanted to have your own symbols and your own forms. And as a great example, we're going to use the City of New York, Department of Transportation, and their form is not going to look like anything that I would just normally create. What we can do is we can send a configuration file with their forms and with their symbols as an email attachment. And now if we open up a new document, we'll see we've got the City of New York's inspection form. Whoops, grabbed the wrong one. There we go. And so now we have their form with their fields that they need to capture. We can go over and we can look at their particular symbols that they use. So for example, in order to mark a mailbox, they've got this MB symbol that they can actually just drop on top of the drawing. Do that. Both of those came in there, just an issue there. So we can actually drop that in. We can size it appropriately. They can move these symbols around. They can make their own symbols if they need to. And again, they've got 50 inspectors. That one email attachment, they can send it to all 50 inspectors, and all of their devices have been configured. All of that, again, is just the base product, and then having some consulting arrangement to create these configuration files with their forms and their libraries. And it could also include, like, for example, their lists of costs. Now, the last option is to go ahead and create a completely bespoke application based upon this framework. And so, for example, we've got a Home Depot sample application, and in that application it's going to have a map view, and it's going to show all of the relatively close Home Depot locations. It could bring up information on that particular location, sale items, etc. And it would still be based upon this same great drawing engine. So you could have a product out there that, for example, is free to your customers, be like a cost associated with it. But this would be a way of actually getting, exposed, like advertising sort of thing, or, whatever. Again, the point isn't so much this specific application, but the fact that you could build an entire bespoke application based upon this framework. That, of course, is going to run into significantly higher costs, but it is a possibility. And so this is the various different levels that you can actually go for the application. So you can buy it off the shelf if you're a small contracting firm. You can probably just put in your price lists, use the standard forms, and go ahead and use it to close contracts. If you have something that's more elaborate, you have different features which aren't in the standard forms, and you can actually work with me to actually create specific forms for your company with your icons that you actually use. All the way to like the City of New York, where you have like multi-page documents that have very specific, form standards that you need and very specific symbols. And finally, just building a completely new application based upon this framework and working with me on that. And those are all the capabilities and the consulting things that I can do around GraphPad. And I hope everybody likes this. Thanks.